Welcome into the CFP season show. I am your host, Chris. You can find me on Twitter at CFP Talk 07. I am joined by my co host, Austin. How's your week been?
Stupid.
That was that was just a boring intro.
Yeah, it was. Yeah. Yeah, your intro sounded about like how my week's been, man. It's been crazy busy. Um, and doesn't show any signs of slowing down. So,
It doesn't. It really doesn't. I've had a pretty rough, long week also, but it's time to talk football.
that makes the week better.
Yeah. We're down to our final two, the big two. And today's going to be the Big Ten. Let's get
Emphasis
into
emphasis on the big.
yeah. Uh, we talked about it on the phone, me and you, and I think me and Tyler's had the same conversation. This is ridiculous.
Yeah.
I started doing prep on it, and I got through when I got to team 13, I was like, this is wild. Like I still have six more or some odd teams to go. Like just too
No.
big. I'm actually looking forward to the SEC next week, and it's only 16.
Right. So we get a break.
Yeah, because I think the ACC is 17. Big 12 was is the Big 12 18 also?
I don't even remember, dude.
I don't know, 17, 16. And then the Big 10's 18. So the Big 10 and ACC, which is the last couple we've done, 18 and 17. And I'm actually just so freaking excited to get to 16. At this point, I just wish everybody would go to 20 and then break it up in divisions. We'll just do division shows.
I'm down. We're gonna split it up in 2 weeks, so
Yeah. All right. So, what is your? All right. We usually started off big storyline. I'll let you go first, Austin. What is your big storyline for the Big Ten?
I don't know, man. There's so many.
There is.
I've thrown around so many different ones. I don't know. I guess I'm ready to see Bryce Underwood on the field.
I like that one a lot.
I am not a guy who likes to put, the fate of a team on one player. But I mean, when you got a kid coming out of high school that has this much hype, and Michigan already has a solid defense, has a solid, decent running game.
Yeah.
How quickly, how fast can he elevate them?
Yeah, and we'll get into it when we talk about Michigan. I'm really fascinated by it because I think I've said it. Season said it. I'm excited. I'm really hyped on him. I think he's going to be.
I am too, but
I
how
don't think it's
quick?
going to be this year.
I don't either.
No.
But at the same time, it could be.
Yeah, yeah. If I don't know, somebody can correct me if I'm wrong, but I think the last freshman to win a national championship was Trevor Lawrence, but Trevor Lawrence was also on a stupid stack team, and which was 2018. Yeah, I'm curious. I'm so excited to watch the kid, and like I said, we'll get into him and why I'm not too high on Michigan. And it has actually nothing to do with him. My big storyline, I'm we talked about it on the phone. I'm just, is this the year for James Franklin? I think is the biggest storyline for me. Me and you said it on the phone. We're both this way. We're not national championship or bust guys. I'm not typically somebody that likes to hear a coach or people say this coach or that coach has to win a national championship. I typically defend those coaches because it's just so hard. It's so hard. It's
especially
in
the playoff era.
Yeah, it's just hard. I mean, to me, Dan Lanning and his team last year were they were the best team in the regular season. It's no doubt in my mind.
Yep.
And so he's a failure now. Because Ohio State got hot against Tennessee and went on a tear in the playoffs. I mean, that's just when you have a tournament sport like we do in all sports here in America now. it's sometimes it is the best team. I do want to push back on people that think it's not. Like sometimes the best teams do win.
Yeah.
Kansas City, them years with Super Bowls, New England Patriots, I think you would argue was always the better teams. But sometimes you just got to get hot. And it's just so hard to win national championships. But there is rare cases where certain coaches get in certain situations and the teams look a certain way, and you're like, yeah, you need to do it this year, man. You need to do
Yeah.
it. So,
Yeah. I mean, I just don't see like we talked about earlier, that monkey he has on his back and not been able to win the big game. And even if he gets in and loses the national championship, unless it's a nail biter, to I want to say to the best team in the country, but on paper that should be Penn State. So there shouldn't be a team better than them.
yeah.
Yeah, I'm with you, man.
Like if it's a 2nd and 26 type game.
What game was that? I don't remember.
Oh no. Anyway, Big Ten preview. This is our consensus. It's not my personal. It's not Austin's personal. It's not Season's personal. This is what we all three. I need to fix those banners actually. The thingamajigger. Anyway, it is not. It's just a consensus. What we came up with. I think you had Ohio State in the Big Ten championship game. I had me and Season both had Penn State, Oregon.
Yeah, I think after I did my research for this show, there might be a couple of teams, and we'll talk about it as we get there, that I might would have flopped around a little bit.
Yeah, I think there's one at here in this middle. I'm doing my clicker like people can see it. And there's one at 11, Minnesota, that I will get. Not Minnesota. Sorry, is it Minnesota? No, Michigan State. We'll get to in a minute. All right, the bottom tier. We'll make that Purdue, Northwestern, Maryland, Rutgers, UCLA. I'll be honest. We're gonna kind of just quickly rapid fire these. I think Purdue's probably 2-10. If any Purdue fans listening, I'm sorry. Look, he lost a lot. Barry Odom, I think, is a phenomenal coach. I think he's going to turn it around. I think he's going to get them right. I don't think it's going to be this year. It's going to be a rough season for Purdue fans. Northwestern, or go ahead, Austin.
No, you're good.
Northwestern, kind of same deal. I'm not just. I mean, there's really not much to say. Again, I apologize if there's any Northwestern fans watching us in Purdue, but I don't know, man. There's really not much to say. Maryland, this one's curious to me. I think Mike Locksley. I like Mike Locksley. I thought he was a good offensive coordinator at Bama.
He needs to come on home. Come on home.
Yeah, I just it just hasn't happened there. Sometimes I wonder if Maryland even cares about football. Like that's my biggest thing. Do you even care? Because like they have the DMV, they recruit that area, and it doesn't. Now I will say, and this is subject to change, especially in the year of our Lord 2025. They do have like the number one recruit for the 26 or 25, 27 class, something like that. So, which is shocking, but who knows if he's going to stay. Rutgers. Oh man, I was so disappointed in Rutgers last year. I remember very vividly. Rutgers was talked about, kind of like Indiana ended up being talked about middle of the year, like before the season. Like so, this season we're all looking for that next Indiana team. And last year, Rutgers was kind of that team that we all, me, myself included, we all kind of like talked about, like, hey, you better watch out for this team. They return a lot of production, had a lot of guys coming back, Greg Schiano, and they went 7-6, which is good for Rutgers, but it was supposed to be better than that. So they disappointed. The defense was bad. The defense was real bad.
Yeah, it was. And then this year, I don't know if you looked at their schedule or not, but they've got Ohio State, Penn State, and Oregon on the schedule.
Ooh, God Almighty! Yeah, that's rough.
Yeah. I think the schedule alone is going to hold them back. I mean, I like Greg Schiano, but and I think he'll move them in the right direction. But that schedule's tough.
Yeah. All right, so now we're gonna go UCLA. I did do a little bit. How does start, man? What was Nico thinking? I got to digging into this team actually this afternoon. God, what the hell was he thinking? What the hell was he thinking? Because, like, dude, this team is not good.
It's not, and I've thought about that since it happened. What does he have to gain from leaving a team that, you know, I mean, you're leaving the SEC to go to the Big Ten, so you're staying in a big conference, still going to get some TV time, not as much though because you're going to be playing on the West Coast a lot more. But you had a team that at least had a shot.
Yeah.
And you left to go to a team that you said you left for, what do you say, to play more competitive football?
He said a bunch of dumb shit. He said a bunch of dumb shit. He said the other thing was to get closer to his family, which is it's always the saving. Can I was thinking about this today. I didn't think I was actually going to do it, but it got me going here. Since they're paid now, can I say something that we used to not be allowed to say?
What's that?
Like, dude's a bum. Like, you quit on your team. Like, I guess, argue with a wall if you want to get mad at me. Screw it. These guys, they're professional athletes now. They're paid money. They can take it. Like, I don't know how anybody in UCLA locker room. I just don't understand that mindset. Like, where they can accept somebody to come in after he literally just did not show up to practice. Did not talk to his coaches. He went out to dinner with his teammates the night before and then ghosted them, like, when he left. Like, I just, like, I don't know, man. And then you go join a team. I mean, they were 122nd in points per play, 97th in yards per play, 121st in O-line run push. They couldn't run the ball. And then on top of that, you really didn't do nothing out of the portal other than Nico. You were 13th out of 18th in the Big Ten on the portal rankings. I don't know, man. And I'll be honest, I'll say it too. I'll get a lot of hate for this too. Like, I don't think you were a big part of the reason Tennessee. I think you take Dylan Sampson off that Tennessee team and that defense, and they probably go 7-6. They're like, you're not the reason they went to the playoff.
Yeah. No, I agree. And you ever think that sometimes kids realize that, and instead of wanting to be the next failure, they decide to just, I don't know. I'm speculating because there's nothing that makes sense to leave Tennessee to go to UCLA.
And the crazy thing is, like, he's not getting paid more. Like, that whole fiasco. Like, nobody wanted him.
Yeah.
It was down to UCLA and somebody else. But anyway.
I'm curious to see what, they got Senseri coming in as the OC. I am curious to see what he can, I think they can be improved. Like, I think they're going to be better.
Yeah.
But they're not going to contend.
No, and now that I'm thinking about it, I kind of wish I put Rutgers above them. I don't know where I had them. I don't have my notes. But yeah, I had them. Oh, God, I had UCLA 13. What was that? Is that me or you? Good Lord. Can't be me. Yeah, it is me. Jesus, what was I thinking? I had them ahead of, okay, yeah. Anyway, Wisconsin, man, what's happened to our Badgers? God,
I don't know, man.
Like,
run the ball and play defense. Like, that's Wisconsin football.
But they're not even. I was looking up, dude. They, like, in run push, they were 69th.
I know.
They weren't even good at that.
Yeah, no, I know. They come to Tuscaloosa this year, so I hope they stay that way. But yeah, I don't know, man. I really thought Luke Fickell was going to be the one. I thought he was a great fit for Wisconsin.
I kind of still think he is.
I do too. I'm with you. it just hasn't clicked yet.
Yeah, I think he just kind of came in. He was behind the eight. I hope they're patient. I still haven't gave up on him. Nothing that can happen this season. They can go 3-9, and I won't. I'll still want to give him a little bit more time. He kind of
Yeah.
came in behind the eight ball. I think he made a hire, tried to change things up, do the dairy raid as he called it. It didn't work. I do like the OC hire, Jeff Grimes. I think he kind of fits what Wisconsin wants to do now. Honestly, I went and researched this team. I wrote down a ton of notes, and this is kind of similar to my Mario rant, but except it's not about the head coach. I don't think anything I research is going to matter with this freaking schedule.
Yeah.
Listen to this. Okay, this is taken away. Like, first off, you got to go to Tuscaloosa. That's number one. And I think that's like week 3 or something. So you get 2 easies. Probably gonna be 2-0 going into Tuscaloosa in the heart of the SEC. That's third game, so it's not going to be Wisconsin weather. It's going to be 100. It's going to be
absolutely
hot. But now listen to this stretch after I think they play one more game after Bama. Then I think they got a bye week. I think, and then listen to this stretch: at Michigan, Iowa, Ohio State, at Oregon.
Woo.
That's not even accounting in the next couple of weeks. You got at Indiana and Illinois. Like I don't like I can sit here and tell you about how their offensive line wasn't good. I can tell you that I like their portal haul on the D line. They went and got Suggs, LSU, Peterson, and Tulane. Got a UGA kid, got a Kentucky kid. I do like the quarterback. He's an intriguing person, Billy Edwards from Maryland. He was like second in the Big Ten in passing yards per game. I can tell you all that. I just don't think any of it matters because the schedule is just. I don't know who.
Yeah.
I can't imagine what Wisconsin did to piss off the Big Ten headquarters.
Yeah, I don't know.
I would think you would give this schedule to somebody like Michigan since they did like the whole cheating thing.
I mean, that's what 5 games you just named. They go 1-4 at best.
And in that one is hard to figure out.
I think they beat Illinois, but we'll get to
Well,
that later.
Yeah. I was thinking more of the Michigan, Iowa, Ohio State, Oregon stretch.
Oh, I thought you threw Illinois in there too. Yeah. I don't know.
I mean, I did, but those were that 4-game stretch.
Yeah, that's 0-4.
Yeah. But yeah. Anyway, sorry, comment threw me off. It was my wife. I thought it was. I thought we had a comment from somebody else. It was my wife. But anyway, yeah, I don't know. That schedule's tough. That schedule's tough. Michigan State. That's a team I'm the biggest Jonathan Smith fan. Like, I love him. I do think they have like this little nucleus, or not nucleus. Yeah, they have like this little nucleus with the quarterback. I know he didn't have a good year last year. I'm really high on him still. Aiden Childs. He was like a 5-star. He was like one of Oregon State's highest recruited players ever. And then he transferred over to Michigan State with Smith. I think he's going to take a step forward. Nick Marsh, the stud wide receiver, and they have like this really good tight end. I think what it's going to pretty much boil down to is can the O-line portal class that they picked up, small guys, but they're productive small guys, an FCS All-American at Montana State, an All-ACC honorable mention at center, a 28th ranked portal class. I like that a lot. I think the thing that concerned me the most was the defense side of things. They had the fourth worst pass rush grade according to PFF. They had like a 6-game stretch without a sack. They got to get better at the pass rush, and so does the quarterback. He's got to get better, but I do think they have a good nucleus. I kind of got a little higher on them. I think I had them 12.
Yeah, you had them where the consensus had them.
Yeah.
See, I think I know you said talking about the defense, and yeah, there's some stuff there, but where I think the offense can be better, it's got to be better. I don't fully understand how you have a guy like Nick Marsh and you only averaged 19.3 points a game last season. You know,
Yeah.
your quarterback only, I mean, I was just looking, he threw for 13 touches all season. You know, so I think as we get into the top, you know, 5, 6, 7, and talking about the Big Ten, there's going to be some powerful offenses this year. You're going to have to be able to slow them down, but you're also, I mean, you're going to have to be able to score with them too.
Yeah, absolutely. I don't know if it'll happen this year, but I am fairly confident. Kind of similar to Luke Fickle. I'm fairly confident that Jonathan Smith will get Michigan State back in a competitive environment where you'll have like a year or two, you know.
What he come from Oregon State, right?
Yeah, which I
And
thought
if he did, but if I remember correctly, he started off kind of slow there too.
Mm-hmm. Took a while.
Once he got going, he put Oregon State back on the map.
Yeah, it took him a while, which I'll say that was a place that was like really really bad off.
Yeah, no, I'm not saying that was him. I'm just saying,
yeah,
you know, it might take him we'll give him a couple years.
And as much as I hate to say it, the new landscape can Michigan State, you know, be what they used to be back in, you know, when we were younger, much younger, and less gray hair in my beard. Can they go back to like those D'Antonio days? Minnesota, another like program that's just kind of really consistent. Third 8-win season in the past 4 years.
Yeah,
I think PJ Fleck is one of those guys that's just so consistent. He gets on my damn nerves. I ain't gonna lie.
Does he?
Yeah, he just annoys me some. He's just always like all the cliches and you know row the boat but he's a phenomenal coach. I think he's done you know great job. You know the previous stop and at Minnesota. I'm surprised he hasn't gotten any bigger jobs because I think he's been like really consistent at Minnesota. I thought that by now he would have a big job, but I do wonder if like maybe his personality rubs people the wrong way. He's kind of high strung. You think
He
his like
is.
sodas are laced with cocaine.
Right. Yeah, I don't know. I love PJ Fleck. I love the passion that he has for the game.
Yeah.
You know, I'm with you. He says some corny stuff, but we'll talk about next week. There's a coach in the SEC that says some corny stuff that gets on my nerves a lot more than PJ Fleck does.
Oh, I hope it's the same one as me.
It is.
Nerves too. You know what? I was looking up stuff today on Minnesota actually, and they have and this like when I tell you his stats, and I'm sure you already know them, but like they had this really good running back Darius Taylor, and he had like 986 yards and 10 touchdowns, which isn't like you know earth shattering. It's almost
Right.
1,000. It's not like when you look at those numbers, you're not like going, oh wow. But then when I seen that they had like 110th in run push and was like really bad at run blocking, and to see the running back had almost 1,000 yards is a testament to how damn good that running back is. They do got to get that fixed. They had a top 30 portal class. We're going to talk about this a lot tonight because this ain't the only program in the Big Ten that's had this. But they had 7 one-score games, which is nuts. That's super high.
That's insane.
Yeah. I think losing to DC sucks. That's another thing about PJ Fleck. He loses coaches. Like his coaches get hired. He hires good staffs because them dudes get poached all the time.
Yeah.
He's had to replace a couple OCs, DCs. He promoted from within. I guess to hope for you know keeping it together. Honestly, I think the defense is going to be fine. I think they got a lot of returning production back. The offense has just got to figure out the O-line situation. You know, and Drake Lindsey is going to be the new quarterback. He was he was a freshman last year. You know, kind of was getting mentored by the quarterback that played for them last year. I kind of see another 8-4, 7-5. You know, type another typical PJ Fleck team.
I agree with that.
I
think
that happened.
I don't know. I like the way his teams play. You know, I really started paying attention to Minnesota and PJ Fleck back when God, I just went blank. What's the kid from Tifton that played for Minnesota?
Oh God, dog, you had to say that. Dang it! I know him because Georgia wanted him bad
Yeah.
at the end. We whiffed on him.
He went pro.
Yeah, he plays for the Ravens. God, dog it.
I'm sorry. I can't. I'm blanking on his name right now. But anyhow, a kid from outside of my hometown played for Minnesota, and I don't know. I like the way PJ Fleck runs the show.
Yeah. Nebraska. This team is the most fascinating team to me in the Big Ten. Season is starting to get a little. He's starting to get really high on them. I don't have where he had them, but Dylan Raiola has been his guy. I like Dylan Raiola too. I thought last year it was up and down, but he had like 6 games where his QBR was like 75 or higher, which is really good. But he did have 3 that were under 40, but he was a true freshman.
Yeah. Season. I don't know if he's listening right now. I know he had to work tonight, but I don't know if you saw the hot take on Twitter earlier today.
I did.
He called him out and said he'll be a top 10 quarterback next season.
Well, I think Nebraska did a really good job of getting him some help. They went and got Dane Keene, which is a kid that Georgia wanted bad. And as a Georgia fan, that was one of those rare recruitments where I was refreshing the message board every day trying to see if he was going to commit. And no, he went to Nebraska, and I thought it was huge. And they got that Hunter kid from Cal, and both those wide receivers led their teams. And the reason why that's a big deal is because last year they were 112th in air yards per target, which means they were not explosive at all. They were not throwing the ball downfield. And I don't think that's because Dylan Raiola couldn't. I just don't think they had the guys to go downfield.
Yeah.
And so they kudos to Matt Rule for fixing it. I guess my biggest question is one of my bigger complaints about Matt Rule is he seems to always have been very, very conservative. I used to think Kirby was conservative. I don't think he can hold a candle to Matt Rule's conservativeness. But he did make a coordinator change. He fired demoted his buddy, because when he made that hire, I didn't like it at all. I screamed from the rooftops that this was going to be a failure if that's who he's going to hire as his buddy to be his OC, who's been his OC at several other stops, and he's just really conservative, really bad. But he went and got the least conservative guy in Dana Holgorsen. I'm really curious to see is he going to let Dana Holgorsen cook? He's going to let him do his thing, and that's my biggest question mark on offense, other than the wide receiver play.
Yeah, no, I'm with you, man. And Nebraska's another team. Like we talk about Wisconsin, like I want them to get back to what I mean. Man, Nebraska was the team back when we were, growing up.
Yes.
But I don't know. It just hasn't. They've made what I thought some great hires over the past couple of seasons or couple of years. But
the Scott Frost one was amazing.
I thought it was going to be great, and it was a epic failure.
Epic.
Couldn't
be more wrong.
Yeah. No, absolutely.
Yeah, I think my biggest. Also, I'm a little concerned why Tony White, who I'm a huge fan of as a defensive coordinator, I'm really concerned why he left that place and went to FSU, a coach on the hot seat. Like something weird about that. I think, Rule, he promoted from within. They do have an old guy that used to be a big name in college football, Phil Snow, as associate head coach. He's a former DC. They do lose quite a bit on the D line. Top 4. Oh no, I'm sorry. Yeah, starting D line's gone. Top 4 cornerbacks are gone. Little rebuild on the defense. But I was looking at the schedule, Austin. I mean, I could see I actually wrote it right here. I could see a ceiling of 10-2 if Raiola takes that next step. Like if he takes that next step and the Dane Keene thing works, which I think it will, the Hunter thing works, they get more explosive in the passing game. Dylan Raiola becomes what Season thinks he is, and has shown flashes to be. I could see a 10-2 season because, I mean, they got I mean, let's run it real quick. Cincy, Akron, Houston, or Houston Christian, sorry, it's an FCS team. Michigan, Michigan State, Maryland, Minnesota, Northwestern, USC, UCLA, Penn State, and Iowa. Like, other than the games I would like do guaranteed losses, Penn State. I could see them winning every other game, to be honest with you.
Mm-hmm.
Like, I could see that. I guess we'll say Michigan. We'll just say Michigan guaranteed loss. So I could see 10-2.
I mean, throw Iowa in that and not pretty easy 9-3.
Yeah.
And I
This is
mean,
a big year for them.
I think if you take Nebraska 9-3, I mean, but we talked about this earlier too. How is it fair that Nebraska has that schedule and Wisconsin's looking at the juggernaut that they have?
Yeah.
Yeah, they're competing. They're competing for the same trophy.
It's the thing that we talked about at the beginning of the show. These big conferences. Not only is it difficult selfishly for the freaking preview shows, it's also difficult to make schedules.
Yeah, it's got to be a scheduling nightmare.
Yeah, the imbalance of schedules, like it's crazy. Like, I mean, you look at Wisconsin's schedule and then you look at a Nebraska schedule, and there's just night and day difference. Kind of crazy. Anyway, it sucks. But USC. Man, we are going fast. USC.
We're good. We're good on time.
Yeah. I was listening. What's funny is I was listening to Greg McElroy today on his podcast. I think he does a pretty good job on his podcast. Season loves Greg McElroy, by the way, people. He's gonna text me later on that one. He's pretty high on him. My guy Pick Six Previews. I respect the hell out of him. One of the most knowledgeable people when it comes to sport. We've had him on the show. I buy his magazine. He's really high on him. I think he has him like finishing 4th in the Big Ten. And a lot of the things that I'm hearing is it's mainly because 5 of the 6 losses were within a score. They held a bunch of fourth quarter leads in like 4 of them. I counter that point with it's year 3 of Lincoln Riley. Like, I get the argument of 1-score games. I make that same argument in certain cases, but we're in year 3 now, like year 3 or year 4. Like, at some point, the head coach has got to learn how to finish games. I'm not this high. I don't understand people being that high on this team this year.
Well, and here's my issue with that is we're talking about USC. We're not talking UCLA, right? If UCLA goes 7-6 with a bunch of 1 loss, hey, you know what? UCLA had a good season. They could be better this year. This is USC though. USC should be, a school like that. The finances that they have, the recruiting, grounds that they have, they should be up there talking with Penn State, Oregon, Ohio State, Michigan. So I'm with you, man. You've got Lincoln Riley, USC. There's no way we should even be talking about them in the middle of the pack.
Mm-mm. And you know what's crazy? It's not even shoot, where's my notes? There it is. Like I think he's finally figured out the defense. I think Lynn did a phenomenal job last year. It wasn't great. They had issues on defense.
They got better.
They got a lot better. A lot better. I'm not going to spend too much time on that because I think Deontay Lynn is going to have like a second-year jump. I think the defense is going to be even better or improve even more. I think what's concerning to me is USC was 31st in I can't even read my own handwriting. That is sad. 31st in EPA per play. And you see that and you're like, I mean, 31st ain't bad. But I was blowing my mind when I read this. That's the first time a Lincoln Riley offense has been outside the top 15 since his first year as Oklahoma's offensive coordinator.
Wow.
he's always had a top 15 in EPA and any metric you want to look at, advanced stats or just regular stats. He's always been a top tier offensive mind. Our biggest issue has always been his defensive hires, strength and coordinator, physicality. We've heard from reports that, it's not the most, his teams are not always the most physical teams. I do think his DC's fixing that on the defensive side of things. My problem is the offense is taking a slide back. It's kind of started in Caleb Williams last year in college. You started to notice a troubling trend, and the offense just hasn't gotten better. It's kind of gotten progressively worse. I think the offense of line wasn't that great last year on the run blocking. Hell, they were 91st in explosive pass, and that's like his calling card is being explosive.
Yeah.
The Maavi kid, I probably butchered that name. I know he finished 3-1, but I just wasn't impressed with him. Now, there's this true freshman that I don't think is getting enough talk, Longstreet, that I was really high on as a recruit and excited to see him play. I have a hot take that I wrote down that I think he'll be the starter by the end of the year because I think things are going to go sideways at some point.
Yeah. I'm going to say this, and we can move on, honestly. And I'm going to be honest. I don't know if y'all saw me look at my phone a minute ago. It just did something weird. And I did a lot of prep early this morning when I got to the office. So I put it in my notes on my phone, and they all just disappeared.
Well, my TV just like cut off by itself.
Anyhow, I don't know what the heck happened. So I just lost every note I had. I've got some wrote down, thank God. But anyhow, look, for me, the excuses are gone. We're talking about, like I said before, you got Lincoln Riley, who just a couple of years ago, you had people labeling him and Kirby Smart as 1A and 1B, and who was the better head coach. And I mean, USC's gone 15-11 over the last 2 seasons. The mass exodus that they had in the portal this season, no excuse for that at USC with Lincoln Riley as the head coach. I don't know, man. I think I've just lost respect for him to where, because I know where they should be, and I just don't know if it's going to turn around for him.
What's crazy is they don't have that hard of a schedule.
No.
I'm looking at it right now. Missouri State, Georgia Southern, at Purdue, Michigan State, at Illinois. That'll be tough. Got a bye, then you got Michigan, at Notre Dame, which if it's up to Lincoln Riley's, never mind. If it's up to Lincoln Riley, that one won't be played anymore. Then a bye at Nebraska, Northwestern, Iowa, at Oregon, and UCLA. Not a tough schedule, but I do see a cut. I think they'll lose to Oregon. I think Nebraska could get them. I definitely think Notre Dame's going to beat them. I think Michigan. We're going to get to Michigan. Yeah. Like you said, we'll move on that. Washington. My sleeper team.
That is your sleeper team.
That is my sleeper team. But in the summer, I was legit in my mind. I had already made up that I was going to. I had my mind made up that I was going to put them in the playoff. They were going to be my sleeper. They were going to be my Indiana. Everybody keeps talking about who's going to be the Indiana this year, and I was like, Washington's it. Then I became a scaredy cat and decided not to do it. So yeah, Austin knows me better than anybody, and he probably knew I was going to do that. I will say, I had him the highest out of all of us. I had him 6th in the Big Ten.
Yeah.
They're 8th, which obviously means my 2 co-hosts did not have him that high. So I did put him 6th, right outside the bubble of the contenders, or right there in the contenders. I do think this team has a chance. I think they have a kind of a 3-thing nucleus like Michigan State, but this one's better. I'm gonna hate saying this because people are gonna take this wrong, but it's kind of like reminds me of like a Troy Aikman, Emmitt Smith, Michael Irvin kind of trio. They got this really badass running back who's like one of the best in the country, one of the more underrated running backs that don't get talked about enough, in Johanna Coleman. They got a wide receiver that I've seen some mock drafts and people that are, saying, hey, this kid could be a first-round kid, and Denzel Boston. And then they got this electric quarterback that I don't know why they didn't start earlier in the season. But he had a really good 2-game stretch and had a bowl game where he had like 400 yards, 70 or 80% completion, something crazy like that, 3 touchdowns. He's electric with his legs. Demond Williams Jr., which is one of the bigger reasons I'm high on him. The biggest worry, though, is the offensive line. I couldn't believe I didn't remember this, and I know you probably didn't either, Austin. But like, he got sacked 10 times against Oregon in
Wow.
one game. Yeah, I read that earlier and was like, "There's no way." Like, what? That's how
Yeah,
bad the offense
I don't
is.
remember that at all. But yeah,
Yeah, but
that's insane.
I don't. I can go ahead and read the numbers, but that should tell you alone. But it was the second worst O line grade in according to PFF. They were 112th in sack rate. It was bad. It was really bad. They did pick up a 4-star tackle from K State. He's a 2-year starter. I like when I hear about portal kids that people get picked up. When I hear like, it was a 2-year starter or it was an all, ACC or all Big 12. I'm like, okay, this is a productive kid you picked up. You picked up a productive kid, and K State kind of churns out offensive linemen, and so I like that pickup. It's literally going to come down to the offensive line. I think the defensive side of things, you hire Ryan Walters. If people don't remember him, he was the DC for Illinois that year, the no-fly. Like, they had their own little, like, no-fly zone thing, and they were really great on defense. He's worked at a couple other places. He sucked as a head coach at Purdue, which I'm not going to put that on him. It's Purdue.
Right.
I love that hire. I think he's going to be great. The defense, I think the biggest thing with defense is stopping the run. If they can stop the run and get better O line play, I think this team can go to the playoff. I really do. I think they can finish
I,
top
I
4.
I was gonna ask you that. Like, what do you when you say sleeper team? What's your ceiling for them? I mean, because
Playoff team.
the schedule's not terrible. I got it right here. If you want me to read it off,
Good.
Colorado State,
Mm-hmm.
UC Davis, Washington State. Ohio, they do have Ohio State coming to them. Maryland, Rutgers. They go to Michigan, Illinois at home, Wisconsin, Purdue, UCLA, Oregon.
Yeah.
So obviously that Oregon, Ohio State, Michigan, that those are really the only 3 that really stand out to me. I mean, maybe they win one of those. You think they're a team that could win one
I
of those
do.
and finish 10-2?
I do. It's funny you say that. I started doing this on our prep work, and I'm going to do it next year more and actually incorporate in the show. But like when I was looking at doing my research, look at their schedule, and I kind of figure out a ceiling and a floor.
Yeah.
And my floor literally for Washington State, Washington, what the hell? Washington was 8-4, like a little bit of improvement from last year.
Yeah.
And my ceiling, I literally wrote down because I couldn't decide which one. I had 9-3/10-2.
Yeah.
And I had 10-2 because I think where it falls in the schedule, because I pulled it up too while you were talking. At Michigan's all the way in October. I mean, that's a long ways away. Like that, this team could be if the offense line gets fixed, if they get better at running the ball, if they get better at protecting Demond Williams Jr., if Demond Williams Jr. is the quarterback that we saw in the 2 games that he played, limited sample size, if he's that, and you don't have Michigan until October 18th, like that's a team I really think you could beat. I'm not going to go as far as Ohio State. I'll go ahead and chalk that up as a guaranteed loss.
Yeah.
But I do think Michigan, you can win that. And if you can win that and then just lose Ohio State and Oregon, you're 10-2 easy.
Yeah.
Assuming all those things are fixed. And I would not pick them to lose to or to win against Oregon. I would chalk that as a guaranteed loss. It's a rivalry game. Anything goes. Me and you, as fans of 2 teams that's been through some nightmares with like certain rivalry teams like Auburn, for example. Yeah, anything can happen. So yeah, I really do think that. So all right.
I thought there was going to be a 1 second joke in there somewhere, but
No, because I can't joke on. I can't. Can I
yeah.
put our in our contenders? Because I was gonna go ahead and go to contenders.
Let's go.
All right.
Um,
Well, hold on. Before we transition, We've got a good amount of people watching. If y'all could, just a quick 5 second break. If y'all could do us a huge favor, go to YouTube. You see it right there on the screen under follow and subscribe over here on the Big Ten graphic. That's the YouTube name and Twitter name. If y'all could just go to YouTube right now. Matter of fact, I'll tell you right now, we have only two of y'all watching on YouTube. The rest of y'all watching on Twitter, which is fine. Totally fine. If you'll just take 2 seconds while I'm
Just go
jabbering,
like and subscribe.
just go to YouTube, like and subscribe it, and come back to Twitter. You can watch it on Twitter. I don't care. The way YouTube works, just to be transparent, to make money, you got to have subs. And I think everybody can respect the hustle. We all want to make money in this world. So yeah, it would be great if y'all could just run over to YouTube for 2 seconds, go hit the subscribe button, come back to Twitter. If this is your preference of watching it, totally fine. That would be great. So, all right. Now, since we don't have advertisers because people won't go to YouTube and subscribe, that was our ad break. Let's get to the contenders. Iowa Hawkeyes. Me and you must have seen the same Twitter clip.
Yeah, I think so, man. Literally, I'm working on doing prep last night, and they post the video of the Iowa quarterback, and I mean, that's all Iowa needs
That's it.
is a quarterback.
That's
Do
it.
they have it? I mean, any of those, any of the top 10, probably top 18, these guys can make a unpressured throw in practice. You wouldn't have a scholarship to go play football somewhere if you couldn't throw the football. But I don't know, man. I'm growing on Iowa.
I am too.
I think if I had to re-rank this right now, I would have Iowa at 5.
I had Iowa. Oh, look at that. I had Iowa at 5.
Did you?
I did. I changed it. I actually did my order of finish this morning, and it was
Okay.
Iowa got lucky because I saw that clip, and that's not the only reason why. Let me be transparent. I'm an
Yes. No.
FCS fan. Austin, because he's my best friend. Unfortunately, he gets FCS stuff all the time. So he's forced to watch it at times because it's what I watch, and he's a good friend. So he's watched FCS games at times to be able to have a conversation with me sometimes. I've watched this kid in the FCS. I think he was a beast. I mean, he won the what essentially it is. It's like I think it's like the Walter Camp Award, which is the FCS's like Heisman. That's
Yeah.
who they award the best player. He's won it. He's won 2 national championships. He's a freaking gamer. I've watched this kid. He's like I'm not comparing him to Tim Tebow, but he's like a Tim Tebow. He's a battering ram. I think he ran for like 1,000 yards and whatever. Actually, I have it right here. In his career, he's 49-6, 10,000 plus passing yards, 93 touchdowns, and 1,767 rush yards with 30 plus touchdowns running the ball. I mean, will it translate to the Big Ten? I don't know. We've seen FCS quarterbacks translate though. Cam Ward, people may not remember this, FCS quarterback. Who else was it? God, there was a second one, and I can't remember now. There's 2 of them. But anyway, there's 2 of them. Yeah, man, I like this guy. I think we're avoiding saying his name because I have no clue how to say his last name, but it's Mark. We talk about this kid and he says it's like Mark Gronkowski. If y'all go subscribe on YouTube, I'll learn to start saying people's names. Yeah, man, I'm high on Iowa. We also had an Iowa guest last night that I thought did a phenomenal job. They added an FCS receiver also, I think, Jeffrey the Greek. He's on Twitter. He mentioned him. We don't have to get into how bad they're passing and all that stuff. I think it's going to come down to the quarterback. But all right.
Yeah, I do too.
We have a guy in our group chat that's an Illinois fan, and he's probably going to block me after this conversation. Illinois, I had them 8. I don't think they're a contender. I don't like that they're in the contender tier, but this is a consensus. I don't know, man.
I think the reason they got ranked where they did was, I mean, they did go 10-3 last year, which I think is a ceiling for not only Illinois but for Fat Boy Brett Bielema. I can call him that because he used to be kin to us at Arkansas. So, um, and they have a lot. I mean, a lot of that team's returning.
Yep.
I think they have like the second or third most teams returning. Like 16, I think 16 starters are returning from that team. Um, but yeah, uh, I'm with you. I don't. I think last year was a ceiling for them.
Oh, I'm so glad you said that. You stole the words right out of my mouth. I was literally looking at what I wrote down. That's yeah, you're absolutely. I think that too. I know Season in particular, he gets annoyed with me sometimes, and I know there are some people out there that get annoyed with the advanced stats. I don't think they're the end all be all. I don't. I think they're good. I think they're useful. I think anybody that doesn't think they're useful is crazy. They are useful, but again, they're not the end all be all. The one thing I can't help, a lot of people that I respect, I'm sorry, I'm just on my computer because something weird's going on. I think we both have ghosts in our house. Yeah, thank you. One of the things that a lot of the guys that like run these models and Bill Conley, a bunch of these guys that run these advanced stats models, um, they've all said the same thing. They kind of punched above their weight class. Um, I think I'll just use Pick Six previews as an example. He has an advanced stat called Game Grader. I'm not going to try to explain what it means and all that. You just have to go look it up if you want to know. But even with their 10-win season, they were 35th out of 68 teams in his like advanced stats metric, which kind of aligns with what me and you said. They just punched above their weight. I don't think.
Yeah,
Now they do have the Big Ten gods. Somebody at Illinois, at the Big Ten headquarters, somebody loves them.
yeah.
Um,
I was just looking at their schedule too. Man, I know week two we talked about. The opening week this year has a pretty solid slate of games, but week two is just garbage. But Illinois traveling to Duke in week two. That should be interesting.
I think our boy
Um,
Season has Duke winning that one.
do what now?
I think our boy Season has Duke winning that one.
Yeah,
Yep. And I now have two on it.
Indiana, USC at home. Ohio. I mean, they have Ohio State at home. They go to Washington. Yeah, I mean their schedule is going to allow them. And if this team finishes anything below 8-4, it's an epic failure
Yep.
just based off of schedule.
But I will say that 8-4, like you're saying 8-4 and below, right? Or just
Yeah,
anything
yeah,
below 8-4.
yeah,
Because I seen somebody post on Twitter. It's one of the accounts in our like content creator group. Saying basically it was kind of like a hot take. Like I think Illinois can go 8-4 this year, and that should be fine for them because essentially all everything we said.
yeah,
But I do think anything below 8-4. I did write that their ceiling is 10-2, just because of the schedule.
yeah. I agree with
Um,
that.
we could say all this and then they come back and people get like rub it in our face. I could still see them winning 10 games because of their schedule, but Indiana. Oh, go ahead.
No, go ahead.
Indiana. This is I find myself saying this a lot with a couple of teams in the Big Ten. But this is another one like I started to dig into more, and I was like, man, I really like them more than I did in the spring. Now they're gonna have to rely on a portal class again. I'm not. I like Kurt Cinetti. I have a love hate relationship with him. I love him. I also can't
I
stand him.
agree with that.
Like you know me, I'm a Lane Kiffin fan, so I can't sit here and bash Kurt. I love the trash talking. I think he gets a little carried away with it.
Yeah,
I also got really pissed at how he talks this big game, and he backs it up. But then he went and coached against Notre Dame and was one of the most conservative, worst coach games I've ever seen. Like in a do or die situation.
yeah,
Um, I just really like what they did in the portal class again. I really do. I like the Cal quarterback. Georgia was after him hard. Um, I like the App State receiver they got, Micaiah Jackson. The O line returns 3 starters. Then they added the Notre Dame center that played in the national championship game. Um, who ain't going to start at Notre Dame because all their players were hurt. So he needed to go somewhere to start, and they get that kid. Um,
Yeah.
their defense is going to be legit again, in my opinion.
Yeah.
And I know people. Oh, go ahead.
I was going to say the defense, I think, was my worry because they do replace a lot. But the
Yeah,
one thing I noticed was they kept their leaders. They kept their leader, their leading defensive lineman. They kept their leading linebacker, and they kept their leading cornerback. So I think the fact that they kept a leader in every main area of a defense will go a long way, and I think they'll be fine. I think they're going to be legit.
yeah, I do too. And like people, I'll see it on Twitter. I want to say this before we go to the next teams. Um, I understand that they lost to Ohio State. They lost to Notre Dame. Um, I get that. And but if you go look, they held that defense. I'm talking about the defense. They held Ohio State to its third worst yards per play average
Hmm.
and the worst yards per successful play. Like that defense was legit. I think the offense was kind of got stagnated and all that.
They only gave up the whole season like 15. I read
Yeah.
15.6 a game points a game. I mean
Yeah.
that.
And then the next one I was going to say Notre Dame, like other than Love's 98-yard touchdown run, they held Notre Dame to 4 point yards per play.
Yeah.
Like Notre Dame was struggling to get moving the ball. They had that one run, and that kind of broke it for them. And Notre Dame's defense kind of swallowed Indiana. That defense was nasty.
Listen, I think I truly think Indiana last year just got overwhelmed by the moment. I hate to say that, but I do. Um, Talent wise, lining up, I think you play Notre Dame week 2. Not in a do or die situation, and I think they can stand up with them.
I do too. I really do. And then there was before the last thing, then we move on to Michigan. Um, I went back and there was a article on at on3.com, and one of the guys that they have there, he's also big into advanced stats, and he does a top 100 player list every year. And there was like 9 to 10 Indiana players on this top 100 list, and that kind of
Yeah,
raised my antennas to be like, whoa, wait a minute. Did Indiana kind of score big again in the portal?
yeah,
Um, I will say for all the things about Kurt Snedeky, one of the things he does really great is he's really great at evaluating talent, and he knocked it out of the park with the class last year. We'll see if it's good enough this year. Michigan, I had I love when I prep for something, and I'm not even going to say it all. We can talk about the offense last year. I'm not going to even read the numbers. It was bad. It's that simple. It sucked. The
yeah.
defense was elite. Um, Austin, the thing that I kind of want to shape the conversation is I think Bryce Underwood's going to be phenomenal quarterback for the years to come. I personally think, I'll say it right now, I'll clip it, put it on TikTok. I think he's going to be the face of college football by his sophomore year. I do. My problem isn't Bryce Underwood. My problem is I don't think he has a team around him on offense still. I don't think the wide receiver play is going to be good. I'm not impressed with what they have at wide receiver. Not impressed. I mean, they lost the tight end, the big stud, Cortland Love, I think his name was. Um, I just I don't I don't think he has the talent. I think what this kind of year is going to be. I thought about this in my head today. I'm kind of rambling. Michigan for 2026, like going ahead and looking even further ahead, I think is going to be a team that I'm going to have like as a contender for the national championship. Because I think what's going to happen this year, I think we're going to see flashes from Bryce Underwood. We're going to see those flashes when me and you are watching a game at your house or whatever, and we're going to go look at each other and go, holy crap.
Yep.
And then we're going to see the freshman mistakes. We're also going to see an offense that ain't all the way there yet. And then I could see Michigan going into next off season and go kind of like they did with Bryce Underwood. Like we got to get a quarterback. They went and spend big bucks, And then they go and they get into the portal and go, all right, now we need wide receivers. And they go spend big on wide receivers. And that's kind of where I'm at with Michigan. I just don't think I think the offense is going to be better. It cannot get any worse than 98th in success rate. It cannot get worse than 127th in yards per play. It literally cannot get worse. My
Yeah.
thing is, I just don't think it's going to be. I don't think it's going to be in the top 50. I think it's 70s,
Yeah.
80s.
No, I could see it, and also, how does Michigan attack this? Because I'm with you. I don't think they have the receivers, but do you try to go to a normal style offense and allow Bryce to start developing as a passer? In college football, or do you try to go out and win football games this year? Because I mean, you got Jordan Marshall and Justice Haynes at running back. I mean, hell, you could run the triple option or something. I mean,
Yeah.
I'm being funny there, but I'm curious to see how they attack it offensively this season.
I'm
Um,
very.
and they don't have a lot of time to get ready. They go to Norman, Oklahoma, week 2.
That's going to be a fascinating game.
That is going to be it. It really is, because it's two teams that I think we'll talk next week, that both have a very high ceiling, but a very questionable floor.
Yeah.
And I think it'll be interesting to we'll know pretty soon what each team's made of.
Yeah. I'm so sorry, comment section. I did not. I had it on full screen. Yeah, our boy
Dude,
Season is watching. Look at
yeah,
him. Our boy Season. Love that.
call out for Elijah Surratt on Indiana. I was going to do that earlier and I just skipped over it, but I mean,
Yeah,
dude averaged over 18 yards a catch last season.
he's a dog.
Um,
Yeah,
so
yeah. Our boy
yeah,
Season knows. He's good at his stuff. I did not know he was watching. I ain't got my phone on me. I bet you he's been texting me. Yep, I got 3 text messages from him.
yeah, he was just letting us know he was on catching the end.
Yeah. Uh, I knew once I seen him in the comments. I was like, yeah, I bet he's texting me. All right, let's go Ohio State. I literally just looked this up. I was somebody that was down on Ohio State last year, and I would argue that I felt pretty good about that after the Michigan game and after the Penn, or not the Penn State, the Nebraska game. I think they struggled. They had lost to Oregon. I felt kind of good when they went 10-2. I was like, yeah, see, I told y'all this wasn't a national championship team. I tried to
Hmm.
get y'all not to hype them up, and then they go on a 4-game tear and just become a buzzsaw and shut me up. And I told myself this year I wasn't going to be down on them. Um, yeah, they lose a lot. They lose 22 players that were all, I mean, they had 22 players that were all Big Ten. 14 of them was drafted. You got Chip Kelly gone. You got Jim Knowles gone. O-line coach is gone. Me and you and Tyler have made it very known that we did not like the coordinator hires, particularly the defensive coordinator hire. I hated that hire. You lose Sawyer, JT Williams, Ty Hampton, Cody Simon, Burke. I mean, just so many losses, so many losses.
And you're bringing in a freshman quarterback.
And you're bringing in a freshman quarterback. That I'm reading like in the reports, like this is a legit battle. Like Saban's not.
I've
It's
read
not
that
like what
too.
we're reading at Bama. Like all the reports at Bama's like it's Ty Sampson's job.
Yeah.
Um, you're not reading that from Ohio State camp. Like people are telling you, like, oh, this is a legit battle. Um,
Yeah.
that scares me a little bit. But man, I just looked it up. You want to know the last time Ohio State didn't win more than 10 games? Excluding COVID. COVID doesn't count. That year was just, that whole year doesn't
Yeah.
count. Anything in life.
When?
2011. And a matter of fact, I'm looking at it right now. My dude, they haven't had a season other than last year. I think they finished season 10-2, right?
Yeah.
Yeah, everything's 11-2, 11-2, 13-1, 13-1, 12-2, 11-2, 12-1, 14-1, 12-2, 12-0.
But to be fair, and I'm not going to let my bias show here, but to be fair, before last season, I mean, you had Ohio State, sometimes Penn State, sometimes Michigan. That was
Mhm.
the Big Ten. You know, I mean, the Big Ten championship was a joke because of the way they had the split up with Ohio State, Michigan, and Penn State being on the same side. You know, um, so I mean, the Big Ten championship was always against. It was usually a cupcake game.
Mhm.
Um, so I mean, look, you've added Oregon in the mix, and really, I mean, even with the other teams added in, that's really the only team that should be a contender right now that you've added in. So yeah, I'm with you. I mean, they should still win 10 football games, easy.
Yeah, I do see. I will say this. I don't think it'll happen, but I do. I could see a 9-3.
Yeah, it's there
It's there. Like it's
because
possible.
I'm with you. Kind of same thing with them. Matt Patricia just feels weird. It feels
Uh,
weird saying it. Losing Jim Knowles the way you did, the defense just feels weird. Offensively, look, that wide receiver room is bar none. I mean, it hands down. I mean, it's awesome. But so again, I think you're going to have that kind of like you said with Bryce Underwood. No matter who gets the starting job, you're going to see flashes, but there's going to be some rookie mistakes. And
mhm.
you make a rookie mistake against a Penn State or heck, I won't even say that. You make a rookie mistake against Iowa or USC. Um, that
And your
could be
first
enough
coming years
to
of Texas.
yeah.
um,
Yeah, that's going to be
yeah.
crazy.
Oregon. Well, on Ohio State before we go to Oregon. I do think it'll be another 10-2. I'm just gonna go off history here. I'm tired of like thinking Ohio State's finally gonna go 9-3 or whatever. I mean,
And
look, they have a history of winning 10 games, but you do make a great point that the Big Ten is different. Um,
yeah,
Oregon, man, this is a team that loses a lot too, but they're
hold on,
one.
hold on. I was going to comment one more thing on Ohio
Yeah,
State. Just for all the fans out there, does the electricity not work in the shoe? Because I know that it's like they won't let them play a night game. Um, maybe they could spend some NIL money on fixing the light so they could get some night games in Columbus. So anyhow, let's move on to Oregon.
Oregon Ducks. That is a team that loses a lot. Um, they lose a lot on the Oregon. Jesus Christ.
My bad, man.
They that was awesome. They lose a lot. But this is one I'm gonna sound like a hypocrite because we just talked about Ohio State and how much they lose. I mean, Oregon loses a lot. Wide receiver room lost a lot. Evan Stewart injury is gonna hurt them. They're starting a new quarterback, Dante Moore, who at UCLA he flashed, but he wasn't like great. He had some problems, but again, I think he was a freshman when he started. Um, I mean, they got a lot of D line losses. They did a pretty good job though of supplementing on the D line. I think the linebackers are pretty good. I think yeah, they also have a really freshman Decorah Moore that I'm really high on. I think he's a stud. And the wide receiver, it is filled with like 3 former 5 stars from like the last 2 classes. But I guess my whole point, like we just went through that with Ohio State, and people are probably gonna be like, "Well, Chris, you do have them." In my personal poll, I had them number 2. I do have them going to the Big Ten championship game, and
Mm-hmm.
I think it's just because I like Dan Lanning's staff. I think Will Stein is one of the brighter minds in college football, and I just watched him like resurrect Bo Nix, who like all of us gave up on, and like they resurrect his career, and he's now in the NFL. Like I never thought I would say Bo Nix an NFL player,
And then
much less a starter.
and then Dylan Gabriel right behind it.
And then Dylan Gabriel right behind him. So excuse me for just kind of trusting the OC that just took 2 careers and like Dylan
Yeah,
Gabriel had a pretty bad year at Oklahoma. He went to Oregon and now he was in New York. Bo Nix was in New York. Like, sorry, excuse me. I'm gonna trust
yeah.
the OC that just did that.
I that's kind of what I had wrote down was it feels like, obviously a little unknown, but almost like the talent level of what we knew those guys at versus where I think it feels like Dante Moore's ceiling might be higher, and he has a better shot at. And I don't know. I'm with you. I trust him and kept him up there too.
Yeah, and again, I know I'm gonna sound like a hypocrite. I don't know, man. I think Dan Lennon's that. But in my defense, I'm literally telling y'all I do think Ohio State's gonna win 10 games. Uh, now there is like the Three Tech Pod, some guys that we're all friends with. They do a show also. They're not that high. I think they had Oregon 10-2. It wouldn't surprise me if they go 10-2 either.
No,
With all the losses they have, I mean, I could see that happening. Losing Evan Stewart, I could see Dante Moore maybe not working out, and but again, I kind of trust Will Stein to kind of like fix the like scheme up things. I think he's an offensive coordinator that can just like kind of scheme things up.
but that's the
Um,
problem. That's the problem though in this new landscape. We keep talking about 10-2 being the like 10-2 is in the playoffs.
yeah, everybody gets a trophy. I'm not saying that.
I mean, you're right, but 10-2 is in the playoffs, and I mean you've got a shot. So
I just accidentally looked at my Ohio State notes, thinking it was my Oregon notes, and just a funny little side thing. And I wrote down Caleb Downs best defensive player, and I literally just about had a heart attack. Like, when did Caleb go to Oregon? Um, God.
yeah,
Okay. I will say this before we go to Penn State. Mikala Hughes.
from
If it
yeah,
Yeah, from Tulane. If it wasn't for Genty, this kid would be dude. He had 1,000 yards after contact. After
yeah,
contact,
yeah.
like
I'm ready to see what he does with the big boys.
yeah, this guy is gonna be. I'm telling y'all. I think. I don't. This ain't a hot take. Screw it. I think by the end of the season he'll be right behind Jeremiah Love as top 2 running back in college football. That includes the next guys we're going to talk about. Penn State,
Whew.
our champion, and maybe if you tune in 2 weeks, national champion. We'll find out. A little teaser there. Um, I don't really know what else there is to say. Really, I don't think we're going to spend much time on Penn State. I mean, everybody's back.
Everybody's back. The one problem you had was wide receivers. You did a hell of a job in the portal of fixing that. Yes, you lost Tyler Warren, but from everything I've read, this sophomore tight end they've got is been solid. I mean, they saying the dude's going to be a beast. You know, the running back room, like, forget about it. I mean, best in the country. Uh, and then, a defense that was already good. We talked about it earlier. You just added fuel to the fire by making Jim Knowles the defensive coordinator.
Yeah.
All
Um,
all of this all of this boils down to, we'll segment back to the first part of the show when you said, is this the year? Is it national championship or bust? And when you look at it on paper for James Franklin, this is it.
this is it. This is it. Like this is the year, man. This is the year. Yeah. I don't really have much to add because I, I I do like you said on the defensive side of things. I will say, yeah, they lost Carter, but man, I'm 37. Don't let the gray fool you. I'm not that old. Uh, but ever since I can remember, Penn State's just always had a good defense. And then you added Jim Knowles. I'm not too worried about losing Carter. I mean, they had 10 guys get all Big Ten honors, and half of them are coming back. So, and then they got AJ Harris, the defensive back, that's coming back. That's really good. And then again, they hired Jim Knowles. So, I think this is your favorite
I
in the
tell
Big
you,
Ten.
I'm gonna tell you something that surprised me was Drew Aller. And when I started digging into his numbers, and with that wide receiver room he had last season, threw for over 3,300 yards,
Mm-hmm.
24 touches.
Impressive.
Like, that's I know we've critiqued him a lot. But we've also gave him props and saying we've seen some really big signs of what he can do. But to have that kind of those kind of numbers with that wide receiver room he had last season, they could be exciting to watch this year, man. I'm ready. I hope James Franklin has them ready to play. Dare I say it? As much as my SEC bias wants to show, and obviously I want Bama to win it, dare I say I'm kind of pulling for James Franklin and Penn State to win it this year?
We talked about that on the phone. If it wasn't for my SEC bias, I'm absolutely. It won't hurt my feelings at the end of the day if it does happen. I do want to say this, and we're going to close on this. Drew Aller, I keep seeing. I even have a buddy that works in the media that has texted me it before. How he doesn't understand the Penn State hype because of Drew Aller, because he just doesn't think he's that good at quarterback. I do think he's improved a little bit. I know the Notre Dame game was really bad. He had a bad game. I don't think he had much help either. But I just want to say this: Drew Aller doesn't have to be Joe Burrow, guys. Like,
no,
he doesn't have to be Joe Burrow. Like, I don't understand why we're still at this point in college football where we think your quarterback has to be Joe Burrow or Deshaun Watson or Trevor Lawrence. Brother, I just watched Stetson Bennett win 2 national championships in a row back to back. I watched Will Howard. I think Will Howard was a good college quarterback. I watched J.J. McCarthy. I personally don't think any of those guys are going to be wearing gold, the Hall of Fame jackets in the NFL. I think 2 of those guys out of the 3 will probably be shown insurance before too long.
Hey, watch your mouth.
Nothing wrong with that. You make good money doing that. Really good money. Maybe good enough to let your best friend go on a SEC road trip. Who knows?
Who knows? We'll see one day.
Great show tonight. We did it a little bit earlier than we could because we're really old. We both had a really long week, and we both just want to get to bed before 10 o'clock. So sue us.
Absolutely.
Next week we'll probably get back to 8:30. Who knows? But yeah, appreciate it. Love the support tonight. Hey guys, here in like probably 5 minutes, I think Season is coming on to do a show with our guy. God, I don't want to butcher his name. Shit, I'm so horrible at this. I think it's College Football More. I think it's College Football More. I'm so sorry if I butchered that. Great follow, great account. Go check out his show. Check out his content on Twitter. Hit the like and subscribe button on the YouTube at CFB_SZN. Next week, I'm going to end it on this.
SEC.
The best conference in college football. Y'all have a good night.